Okay, friends. Hello, good morning. Welcome. I'm Amy. If anyone is new here, also our friends on replay. I know a lot of folks catch this particular call on the replay. Um, I know it is early for our West Coast friends. I'm over here on the East Coast. And yeah, so this is our once a month call. It's called Connect and Create, and it is our casual, free, open, creative hangout. I know we have some new folks in our community, so I'm just gonna give a quick overview, lay of the land here, and then we'll jump in. Basically, once upon a time when this community started, we had a beautiful, vibrant, active Facebook community that had a lot of great sharing and conversations and was a really great connection point. And as Facebook has changed over the years, both on the company end, how Facebook runs things, on the consumer end, how people were engaging with Facebook. It just wasn't serving that function. So we kind of shut down the Facebook group and opened this space up in its place. So it is important to me that there's always a corner of this community that is free, accessible, welcoming, where anyone can come in and sort of get a sense of who we are and what we do here. So we call this our monthly casual creative hangout. Um, Basically what we do here is you're invited, it's very come as you are. If you want camera on, camera off, you can be in the car on the way to work if you want. You could be headsets, at your job, whatever, again, it's casual. If you are able to, you are invited to if you want to have like your sketchbook or a work in progress or some art you're doing and kind of carve this out as a little art time. You're always invited and welcome to do that. If you just want to listen, that's also totally fine. So usually we start out with a quick grounding, which we'll do in 1 minute. If you've ever hung out with me, you know that's how I start everything. Just get everyone centered and present and ready to be here. Then we chat for a while. Some days it's just me talking about whatever's on my mind, what's going on in the creative ether that I want to talk about. Sometimes I guide a practice, an easy practice. Last month we did a little poetry practice that was amazing. That the people who are here live wrote like amazing, profound poems that I'm still like getting over. Um, there's always a spot in the call where I talk a little bit about what's going on in our community. If there are any invitations open currently or coming up that you might want to participate in or jump in on, I let you know about that. And then the last bit, my favorite part is when we kind of open the call up to sharing. If anyone wants to talk about sort of what they're doing creatively, what's on your canvas, what's in your notebook. And I love that part because that's where we get to inspire each other. And every month I walk away with like three new things I want to try. Like, oh, I've never used that color. I've never tried that medium or that technique, or that sounds so cool. So that's kind of what we do here. That's the lay of the land. And today, so when I first opened this space, gosh, how long have we been doing this for? 3, 4 months? Not, it's newish. Um, One of the original things they had envisioned using this space for was inviting in guests, creatives from other communities who could come in and kind of share with us what they're doing, because there's so many amazing creatives doing cool things in the online space. And we're all a little different. We all have our own spin on things. We all offer different things. So I love connecting all of you to other creatives and what they're doing as well. So I'm thrilled that today we have our first special guest coming in to connect and create. It is my dear friend Stacy Maney. She's on the call with us live today. And after we ground for a little bit here, Stacy and I are going to chat and we're going to share some things about what's going on in her community and her creative life. Then we'll talk about what's going on here in our community. Um, and that's what we're doing. So, welcome everybody who's live. Thank you for being here, and welcome to everybody who's catching us on the replay as well. All right, folks. So, I'm going to invite you to just for a minute sit down, what you're working on, what you got in your hands, and do a quick grounding with me. You can just come into a Whatever stillness feels good to you right now. You can close your eyes if that feels good. And we're just going to take a nice deep breath together, just a nice nourishing breath. As we land here, it is Friday. Yeah, I've made it to the end of the week. It is August. It is a new month. Just landing here in the present moment, just bringing some attention to your breath. If you are still connected in it all to the rhythm of the school year, if you have kids or grandkids or just kids out in your neighborhood, this is August. It's where I live, up in the Northeast. That's the month where the sort of shift comes in from sort of the wild and free days of summer. The back to school energy starts to come in and bring a little structure. So we're in that shift that really sort of completes as we move into September, that wild summer energy, which is super fun and super fun to create in. But also, as summer reaches its end, I don't know about you, I'm always like grateful for the structure to come back as well. So we're in that portal right now where we're in that shift. All right, and just focusing on your breath for a minute. I'm going to invite you to just take a conscious moment and release whatever you were doing before you hopped on this call this morning, or before you pressed the play button on the replay. Just gently set that down. It'll all be waiting for you later. Give yourself permission to be here and now and present. And if there's anything that's pulling your mind into the future, something you need to do later today, we're just gonna set that down for now. Let's release, giving ourselves permission to be fully present.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, got some background noise here. And for a moment, just let your energy sink down out of your headspace, back into the body, just feeling your breath, feeling your heartbeat, feeling your lungs expand and contract with the breath, feeling your belly expand and contract with your breath, and connecting all the way down to your feet on the ground this morning if you are able. Just feeling that surface beneath you. If you like, you can imagine that you have roots growing from the bottom of your feet, going through the floor and anchoring you directly into the earth. Just feeling that solid ground under your feet. So easy in our modern world to get lost in that headspace. Bring it back down to the earth. And before we open our eyes, I invite you to just come up, maybe with your hands, maybe just with your awareness into your heart space. Just send some breath to your heart space. Maybe a couple words of love, some self-love, some self-affirmation. Send yourself some love for choosing this time today for you and your creative spirit. And then whenever you're ready, just gently bring your eyes open back into our shared space here. Welcome. We had a few folks come in while my eyes were closed. Welcome. We just did a quick grounding. And just for folks who just hopped in, this is our monthly free community call. It's called Connect and Create. You are welcome. This is very casual, very come as you are. You are welcome to be, working on an art project if you want, eating your breakfast, drinking your coffee, just listening in, whatever works for you. This is your time, your space. Use it in a way that supports you. So, as I was saying, before we grounded, before I closed my eyes, we have our first. Oh, no problem, Shelda. Glad you made it on. Yeah, Zoom's been bugging everybody this week. I don't know what's going on with Zoom. So we have our special guest in our community today. My dear friend Stacy Maney is here. I'm gonna see if I can get Stacy's head in the spotlight as well.
Hello.
Hey, Stacy, welcome. So I'm just going to share for a minute for those who don't know Stacy. Stacy and I have been creating together and creating in the same circles for a long time. Um, I remember the birth of your second child. So how old is he now?
He's 5. He'll be 6 in October.
Okay,
Got
so yeah, long
chills.
time. Long time. Yeah. Um, And Stacey is just one of those creatives who just always inspires me with what she's got going on, what she's working on and doing. And also, a little behind the scenes, Stacey is my accountability buddy. So we have a Voxer. If you guys use the Voxer app, it's like a voice memo app. So um, we voice memo each other frequently just to be like, hey, keep going, right? You're doing good, keep going. And so Stacey is just a personal source of inspiration and encouragement in my life. And so I'm so thrilled to bring her on here to meet all of you and say hello. So hello, Stacey. Thank you for being here today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so grateful for our connection. And like every time I say yes to things for myself and my creativity, you're just making me think like I feel like there's this whole new group of like family that
Yeah,
I get to meet, and it like I have close friends, close family, but like to have our connection and this shared like curiosity and passion towards building what we're building and creativity, like it's just finding your creative people, right? Like
yeah,
creative friends. It's such a gift. So, yeah.
yeah. I think that community is the overlooked tool in a creative's toolbox. We have a lot of
Hmm.
cultural ideas about like the lone wolf artist who's like in a cabin in the woods, you know. And there are parts of the creative process that are, kind of you're on your own, but also having creative community and having, creative sisters that you can check in with is very underrated
Hmm.
part of the creative life. Um so we're going to talk a little bit today about some of the things you've been up to, Stacy.
Hmm.
Um, and I wanted to start with, so your community is called Womb-Based Creativity. That's your and I love that so much. And could you just talk about that a little bit and like just tell people who are new to
Sure.
you what that is?
I should have taken this picture down. Here, I'll move my computer for a minute so you can see the art that kind of helps some
Yeah, your art's amazing.
visualize that piece right there.
That's so beautiful.
Um, yeah, the womb-based creativity, it started probably when I was pregnant the first time with my daughter in 2017. And I had always been like connected to my heart, to creativity, to the earth. But our mentor, Alexis Cohen, she introduced me to this idea of the Great Mother. And it was right before I became a mom, so it was kind of perfect timing. Funny how that worked out. Um, I just reached out to her because I think I reached out to her when I was like 38 weeks pregnant or something. It was like right at the end. And she like officially introduced me to the Great Mother. I love thinking of the Great Mother as this guide, this archetype. Even like Mother Mary comes in a lot, just any kind of mother energy.
Hmm.
And I was so grateful to have been introduced to that right at the beginning of my journey as a mom. And yeah, that I feel like the Great Mother really guided me to this womb space and helped me to really interweave it into my creative process. When I was pregnant, I went out to this retreat that Flora Boley was doing. It was called the Call of the Wild Soul. And I remember we were all doing a meditation. The first night we got there was at Ghost Ranch. And I just felt like this connection between my heart and my womb. Like it was like this electrical current just kind of came online. Um, and yeah, it's never been the same since. Like my work, my life, that's had such a huge influence. And since starting to come out and teach this, because it's like I've been working with this for 8 years and trying to figure out what going on. But since teaching it and really starting to like land the process, I've been introduced to this idea of the cosmic womb. And, it's just that's a really beautiful space for people to go if you don't have a physical womb. Like men and women both can connect to this cosmic womb space. And what I found, like just in this image, is that there's this horizontal line of like we have our vertical channel, which is kind of more masculine, but then there's this horizontal feminine channel, and this horizontal one is what connects us like outward beyond the earth
Mm.
to this cosmic energy. And that cosmic energy is like the pure potential for creativity is kind of how I see it. It's also kind of this unconditional love, like that all is in the same realm to me. So
And it always feels kind of wild to me that like we aren't sort of taught to make the connection between like mother energy and creative energy, even though they are so
yeah.
obviously like one and the same. Like we create life as, whether you're a mother of, children or not, right? It's like
Mhm.
it's the energy, that like a mother energy.
Yeah.
And again, we have a lot of cultural stories um in our culture about like you become a mother and then you stop being creative,
Yes.
which
Oh
is
my gosh.
and you've a lot of our community members have heard my story. That was sort of the story I was stuck in when I had
Mhm.
when I became a mother was like, and then all your creative life force goes towards raising these children, and you can possibly find time to be creative. So,
Yes.
you're just someone who has navigated that, like weaving together like your life as a mom and your life as an artist with like, which is just like amazing, still amazing to me. It's a tall order.
It feels insane on some days, but yeah, it's interesting. Like there is sometimes there's so much tension between motherhood and creativity and like this guilt, like if I'm with my kids, that I'm not working on my projects, and then when I'm working on my projects, I'm not with my kids. And I feel like I'm learning a little more how to just kind of soften that tension and just kind of be in it. Like when I'm over here doing my art, this is making me a better mom because of what I'm, discovering or exploring on the canvas. And when I'm over here problem solving with the kids and like creating the day, like it's a very similar energy. And so I guess the invitation there for everyone, like whether you have kids or not, it's like whatever is in front of you, to really trust that if you're not actually making a painting in your studio, or even if you don't have a studio, that like we still have access to this creative energy, and it can still influence like every part of our lives. Like even when I'm making dinner, like that's a creative, I mean, sometimes it's more creative than others,
Yes,
depending on the
totally.
day and how many children like randomly show up.
Calling for
Um,
pizza is creative. No,
yes. A reheating pizza is also creative.
it's a creative use of your time and energy that's
Yeah.
available to you in that moment. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but really just like being aware, like I just the power of creativity and what happens when we like actually claim that and we claim ourselves as creative instead of consumers, right? Like there's so much
Mm.
stuff that we're like kind of being force fed these days. But it's really like stepping out of that and being like, I'm going to create this, right? Like with more intention and like we get to choose, in that situation where if we're consuming, not that it's bad to consume, but like I feel like there's such an imbalance of consumption and creation.
Yeah. Mm.
So,
I'm just gonna share. Stephanie just put in the chat that she has paintings and sketches that her mom did, but never saw her mom doing them. Am I reading that correctly? So, but you
oh,
never saw her do them as a kid.
oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, I just gonna tell a quick story. I have an uncle who passed away recently, and we just had like a celebration of life for him, and he was very much.
Recording in progress.
Oh, got a little
It just
sound
keeps jumping
feedback.
back in.
I'm just gonna put mute to get rid of the sound feedback there. Um, he was very much like a businessman. And my mother and my aunt found these very impressive drawings that he had done as a child, and everybody was just mystified by them. Like when was he an artist? Like so, yeah, there is the sense that like once you become a grown up, you sort of pack that up and put it away. And
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. Both men and women, I think.
Yeah, no, that my great grandma I found out recently, this blew my mind, like, because I'm like, I don't know where this art stuff is coming from in the family.
Hmm.
And my great grandma, she like did some kind of drawing test and did amazing. She has like a couple drawings, but they were up in her attic and like no one knew, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
wherever those drawings are, I get dibs. Like I need to find those drawings. But yeah, and I feel like there's just so much like there's more space or more of a necessity, with to be creative, to express ourselves and to move the energy that is kind of going around in the collective right now, like for
Yeah.
me, the creativity is just right now a chance to move energy and get it out of my body.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So,
sure. And we're so conditioned that creativity is always about the end result. Like it's about making something that looks nice, but there's so many other benefits as we
oh
talk about all
yes.
the time here, right? Yeah, moving that energy and expressing, whatever it is so it doesn't live in your body forever.
Yes. And it's interesting. I was talking to someone the other day and, like just 20-30 minutes of creating something. Like it could be like drawing on a grocery bag or something. But it was, you can look up the science behind it, but it really released tension, brought ease to the nervous system. And my favorite part, and this really matters, is that it didn't matter if it was good or bad art. Like it didn't matter at all
Yeah.
what you were doing. It was just the act of doing it. So I love
Yeah,
that.
there's a book that came out fairly recently that's very sciencey about like this
Oh,
the science of art, and I'm blanking on the title, but
cool.
yeah, that's like the number one takeaway that I got from that book was like it is completely irrelevant if your art is like quote good by any standard, any cultural standard, or you don't have to what's the quote is like your art doesn't have to be good for it to be good for you,
Ooh,
right?
I need that on a coffee
Yeah,
mug.
I didn't make that up. I don't take the credit for that. That was like a something I read, but yeah. Yes,
Mm.
process over product. Someone said in the link, yeah, in the chat. So speaking about the Great Mother and the mother energy, you recently participated in an event called the Great Mother March, and I was just wondering if you could share that experience a little bit with
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. And this is where I would totally share a video, but I'm not sure how the audio will go. So I'm just going to put a link in the chat. How's that?
Okay.
And
If
then
anyone wants to watch the video, you can click the link because Zoom is not cooperating with video and audio today. But please
uh,
do share it in the chat.
yeah, so it's greatmothermarch.com if you're driving and you can't see the link. But yeah, this event was arranged by Whitney Freya. And
If you don't know Whitney, she's another intuitive artist who's out there in the online space who totally look her up.
yeah, thank you, Amy. Yeah, and I've like followed her, I've known of her, but I never actually made contact with her until last November. She reached out we had a mutual friend who connected us actually around filming the event. And then we were kind of brainstorming on a call, and I was like, oh, I could paint a mural as you, because I'll back up here. The actual march, it was all about a group of people marching from Asheville, North Carolina, and that started on the spring equinox. I think it was like March 21st. And then for a whole month, they walked 500 miles from Asheville, North Carolina to Washington, D.C., and landed in DC on Earth Day. So it might have been like a little over a month of walking, which, yeah, I would have loved to have joined in all the walking, but I was lucky enough to join in the opening ceremony in Asheville. They had a really beautiful ceremony as a kind of kickoff to the whole walk. Um, and I also got to go to the DC where they landed. And the funny story is I got to go with my dad, which Amy
It's
and I were
amazing. It's
laughing
a
about.
beautiful story. Yeah.
I have a picture of us that I just keep in my. There's me and my dad at DC when it landed. And then we marched from the Jefferson Memorial, kind of the last leg of the march. There were people that met that morning that didn't do the whole walk, but wanted to bring them into the DC part. And then this was the mural that I did when they opened it up for the first time. So they
Beautiful.
brought the mural I did was on was it like 11 feet, 11-foot tarp. I just got one of the canvas tarps from like Ace Hardware, put a ton of primer on it. I've never used so much primer or, gesso.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I didn't even know it came that big. It's over in my studio, but yeah, so they took this mural with them along the way, and they stopped at like churches and schools. Whitney and her assistant like had this whole route planned out. And so this was the first time I was seeing it after the whole march, and it was really beautiful to see like how it all came together. And then I got to get footage of the beginning and the end. So if you go to the link, thegreatmothermarch.com, you can watch the video that my husband and I put together. It's on the homepage right now. And yeah, it's I wish I could play it, but yes, watch that video when you have time.
Yes, definitely.
And I feel because we also were able to get a lot of photos from the middle of the march. So there's video and then a lot of photos to kind of help you feel into like the energy of it. And I have to share another really cool part of the march, which some people in your community might have participated in this part, but you could do artists from all around the world were creating little hearts.
Mm.
And I have to show you the two that I got. But they were so the artists would create hearts and mail them into like one main address, and these hearts were passed out. It gives me chills as they were walking the whole time. So like all the towns they went to, they had like hundreds of hearts. And then when we were in DC marching, I got to kind of witness them being handed out. And it was so beautiful. I think at first people were like, "Oh God, like what are you wanting me to buy?" Or
What pamphlet are you giving me? Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, this is just like a loving thing," and then you could just see them like soften, and each heart had words on it. So I think it was really, like whatever message came through. I'll show you the two that I got. The one said hope.
So beautiful.
It looks like Candy maybe was the artist that did that one. And then this one gets me too. This is Sharon from Connecticut, it says, but Dream Big was the other one.
Sharon from Connecticut. Do we know each other? It's a small state. Where are you,
Oh
Sharon
yeah,
from
that's
Connecticut?
true. Where are you? And thank you.
Anyone who doesn't know, I'm in Connecticut here. Um, that's so great. I didn't actually, thank you for sharing that because I didn't know that part of the story. I knew about your mural and the march, and I follow Whitney Freya as well, but I didn't know about the little artist hearts. That's so
I
beautiful.
know.
What a
And
beautiful.
yeah, there's some really cool pictures in the video of like just piles of hearts on tables. So,
Awesome. And we're going to talk about your podcast in a minute, but I just want to say, if you guys check out Stacey's podcast, because she tells the whole story about how she ended up going to the Great Mother March with her father. And it is the best story. It is just like the best, most heartwarming story ever. And you were very clear that like This is not necessarily your dad's scene. Like
Not
he's
at
not
all.
already like a woo-woo arty guy, and that what a journey that was for the two of you.
Yes, he's very like blue collar, like hard worker, entrepreneur.
Meat and potatoes, kind of. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very beautiful experience. And he just retired like a year ago. And I think he needed it just as much. Like we both just had really beautiful experiences within
So
all of that.
great.
The original plan was to go with my husband because him and I both do the film work together. So there was a lot of initiations there. I did the camera all by myself and with my dad.
Yeah,
So yeah.
very cool. All right. So, and the last thing I just want to chat about Stacey is for anyone who doesn't know, Stacey also has a podcast, in all of her free time. She runs a podcast. And I know you've got some really cool, aside from go listen to the episode about going to the Great Mother March with her father, and then you've got
Oh
some
yeah.
episodes coming up that I'd love for you to share about.
Yeah. I'll put this one in the chat too. This is the
Oh, yeah,
link
yeah.
to my newest one, and I have show and tell here for it. But yeah, so at the beginning of the summer, I read this book. And so my podcast is called Nectar, Sweet Musings for Your Creative Soul.
And I know I listen to it on Spotify, but is that
Oh yeah.
how
You
most people find it or?
you can do Spotify, it's on my website.
Okay. Yeah.
And also some of the videos are on YouTube,
Yeah,
but
I'm
not
going to
all
put
of
these
them.
links in when I send out the replay link for this call. I'm going to have all Stacey's links in that as well. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was really beautiful. So I'm probably gonna say her name wrong. Amber, it's Bonici. Like
Benici, yeah. Yeah.
I just figured out the right way in the podcast and now I'm forgetting. But there's four authors to this one book, and Amber was one of them, and I follow her, so that's how I found out about it. But they all kind of like found each other at this retreat, which I think is fascinating, and they'll share the story in the podcast episode. But it was four women who the bees found them within this retreat they were in. A lot of them didn't know each other from the beginning. They stayed in touch. They did a lot of like healing work together, guided by the bees. And this whole book is like a transmission from the bees. You read it too, right, Amy?
I did. I read
Yeah.
it. And for those folks who are in my membership community, we did our June workshop was the honeybee was our theme.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
mentioned that book. Yeah. So we've chatted a little about this book in this community as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just that episode literally went live today, which I thought was funny that it was the same time we're
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
it.
good. I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear it.
So yeah, it's live. There's video, and I got really excited when I made that blog post. I added like the benefits of humming because they talk about hum or
Hmm.
buzzing. Um, and yeah, it was really fascinating. I love being inspired by nature. There's
Yeah.
so much we can learn, and the bees have been such a guiding force for me. In this piece back here, there's a bee on top of the woman's head that it was very clear I needed to add. And then I don't think you can see it in this picture, but when I saw the mural back for the first time, there's a bee that they had painted on top of her head.
Oh my gosh.
And I did not put
Yep.
that there.
And you didn't draw that bee? I
I
see.
did
Yeah.
not draw the bee. I really tried to leave space when I made the design for that for people to add. And I was like, there's the bee again on top of the head.
That's so cool. I
That's
love
really
that.
interesting. So yeah. And I have a lot of more fun ones coming. I want to share more about my process. There's some artists that have been like on my dream list to connect with that I might actually be able to soon. So
That's awesome.
I'm really excited.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear your new episode. And if
Yeah.
you want to go way back in the archives, there is an episode with me.
I think there's two at this point, actually.
Did we do two? Yeah. So if
Uh-huh.
you're checking out Stacey's podcast, we've done a couple episodes together as well. So you can go back and hear. I told Stacey the entire story of my motherhood journey, which those of you who know me know it was a little untraditional. My first daughter in particular. So if you want to hear that whole story, go check it out on Stacey's podcast. All right, so we're gonna shift gears a little bit here. Don't go away though, Stacey. Um, and I'm just gonna chat for a little bit about what's going on here in the Creative Compass community, so everyone's all caught up on what we're doing. And then we're gonna come back for that last bit where we do a little sharing, and I am gonna put Stacey on the spot and ask her to share. So
I'm ready for it.
Hang out and be ready for that. Um, all right. So for anyone who's new here in our community, just want to let you give you a little bit like the lay of the land of how we work here. And that is every month we have an intuitive painting workshop that you can grab a ticket to. They are the third Thursday of every month, almost always. Sometimes Thanksgiving, throws a wrench in that. But the third Thursday of the month, we have an intuitive painting workshop. There's always a theme. The theme is somehow rooted in where we are in the turn of the seasons. I live in the northern hemisphere, so we're rooted in the northern hemisphere, but and so you can it's $30 if you want to grab a ticket and come check out a workshop. And then we also have a membership community if you want to come to all the workshops every month. So our members get, in addition to the monthly workshops, they also get this second session the next Thursday called our studio session, which is more like an open, I don't teach anything. We gather, we chat, we ground, we talk about what's going on creatively in our lives, and then we play music and have some sort of open creative studio time we share at the end. It's tons of fun. It's my favorite day of the month.
Mm.
Um, and so that's sort of the general rhythm of what we do around here. And then, from time to time, we have other experiences and things, invitations, things you can jump in on. And what I'm gonna share today is, well, two things. So I usually this call is where I reveal the theme for the month's workshop. If those in the membership community get a newsletter on the first, so they're always the first to know, but this is the second place to come to know. And in August, our theme, we're working with the lioness as our theme. So yeah, that's going to be our animal. We've done we don't always do animal guides, but we do, we have done a couple of animal. We did the bees in June, which I think was our first animal theme of the year. And we're working with the lioness in August. So we're going to talk about, courage and fierce love, that sort of fierce mama lion love. And if you're into astrology, it's the Lion's Gate and it's Leo season, so there's a lot of lion imagery this month that comes up. And we're going to talk about the archetype of the sovereign queen, which is one of the feminine archetypes that comes in sort of energetically this time of year. Where in summer, we're kind of in that wild woman energy, and then the queen comes in as we shift into fall. And so I'm excited to talk about that. And our workshops, if you're new here, they're sort of gently guided. So I will provide a structure that you can follow if that feels supportive. And you are always welcome and invited to, if your own internal creative voice calls you in a different direction, you are welcome to be listen inward, because that's what we do here, right? Intuitive art, we tune inward. So I think the link to that website, the workshop is going to go live on Monday or Tuesday, depending on when I get the email out. So you can look for that. And if you're in the membership, as always, you're already on the guest list for that workshop for the third. The date is the 20th of August. Every workshop comes with a replay. So if the time doesn't work for you, you always get the replay as well. And the last thing I want to talk about, so I am in the process now of like landing in my mind our next sort of community event. I haven't done one in a while, but those are usually just free live. But unlike these, they're a little more structured than this call, this monthly call, and everybody's invited. There'll be a sign up, and I'm still dialing it in. You guys know how I work. I like wait for it to land. But I'm playing with a sort of like, because it's back to school season. Even if you're no longer connected to sort of the rhythm of school, back to school, it's that September is always that like second new year for me. I was a school teacher. I'm still a mother who has kids in school. So September always has that like second new year energy for me. And I'm tuning in. I would like to playfully, when it's back to school time with your kids, it's like, all right, you need your new supplies and your new schedule and your new, what do you want to learn this year? And so I'm dialing in. I'm hoping we can sort of playfully use that sort of back to school energy as sort of like a creative reset in your creative life. Like, summer can be all over the place, and then in the fall, that structure comes back in again. So it's kind of that reset, reboot, put a little structure in place, do a little thinking about what you want to create for the next 9 months or so, if we're going by a school year calendar. So that's the energy I'm playing with. I will keep you all posted when that's dialed in, but that will most likely be your next invitation from me as a little playful back to school creative reset event. Maybe like just the very beginning of September, very end of August, somewhere in there. All right, so that's what's going on here in our community. And I'd like to turn it over to kind of our sharing time. So this part of the call, um, I'm gonna have me and Stacy go first because we're already in the big boxes here. And then I will take us out of the big boxes and just open it up to anyone else who's here live today. If you want to let us know just kind of what's going on, what's on your easel, what's in your art journal, what's on your sketchbook, what are you playing with, what are you trying, what are you experimenting with? And again, it's just a way for us to inspire each other, give each other ideas. That was what I missed the most about when the Facebook community was really active and running. We did this monthly post where everybody shared what they were creating, what they were baking, and then that post just just kind of disappeared in the algorithm. And anyway, so that's what I we're doing here. So, Stacy, what's going on in your creative life right now? You're going first.
I love it. I know I love that you brought the shift to the schedule. I feel that as well. I have like my little grid that I'm going to try and focus on for my schedule. Um, yeah, I've been kind of in between everything. In order to really get space for my creativity, I've been doing art lessons for kids. I don't even know if I told you this, Amy.
Yeah, I think we chatted a little bit about it.
Okay. Yeah, so this one, I just want to share this collage I made. I started it with in one of my lessons and then I just kept going, but unleashed your
Wow.
creativity. And it started with this painting from Shiloh Sophia,
Uh-huh.
and it's called Song of Sophia,
That's
which I
beautiful.
love. And I let it rip.
Love
Um,
it.
but yeah, right now I'm dialing in the structures for even my website. Like I kind of half redid it, but I'm still working on that so that I could just start like pouring into it with the blog and make it a place that people can like more of a resting place for people.
No.
I tried Substack. That was a whole thing. I just kept getting this vision like I need one home page that doesn't
Yeah.
have all these distractions. So I'm working on that, and I get to do a little art club at my kids' school. So
Oh,
that'll be
fun.
fun. I just figured that, yeah, I just got approval
So
on that.
fun.
So yeah, it's kind of going back to like just how I can bring in creativity to all aspects. Um, and it'll be nice to teach kids and kind of like refresh myself on basics at the same time. And then maybe use some of the content for the blog as well. So I think that's one of
Beautiful.
my secrets is like just how I can use all of it to work off of each other in like this ecosystem. So yeah, it's building the structure for that right now.
Yeah, structure is a big theme this time of year.
Yes, we need that.
Right.
It is anarchy over here.
Same. Um, Just when you're sharing you're doing it after school many years ago before I had this online community. I did an after school program at our local middle school before any of my kids were old enough
Oh.
to attend there. And yeah, that just chewed me up. And I was like, middle school might not be my calling. I mean, it was fun. We got through it. There were a lot of positive things about it, but I was like, yeah, I was in my teaching days, I was an elementary school teacher. Middle school was a
Mhm.
whole thing. It's
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
you are in the hornet's nest of the hormones and
Yes,
all the
I'm
things.
kind of
And
scared of that
I was
chapter.
like, yeah, that was a one and done for me. I didn't
Yes.
reapply next year, but
Yep.
it was good. A lot of good kids. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And I'll share, so the folks who are in my membership community, they've heard me, I've been sharing a lot about how July was a little bit of like a creative dead zone for me. Just, the chaos of summer and the kids being home. And My easel was largely empty. And there was a minute there where I was like, am I ever going to paint again? Like, can I ever get this? Like, I just felt so disconnected from that. And what's coming in August is that I felt this really strong call to do some crafting.
Mm.
Like not painting and drawing in my usual. I was like, I want to make stuff with my hands. Like a
Yeah.
really strong call to do that. And um I recently got into wire wrap jewelry. Does everyone, am I late to this party? Do you guys know what that is? Um, it's really like you should just like go to the craft store and get some inexpensive craft wire. It comes in all thicknesses. And I was on Pinterest, like saving pictures and stuff, and it's very intuitive. Like you really just like wrap a wire around your arm, and then I had some beads from like some broken jewelry and some past craft projects and things, and then you take a thinner wire and you wrap on the beads, and it has this very like I don't know, goddess kind of like, you make these like arm cuffs and these like long rings and things, and so that is my new crafting hobby that I'm currently obsessed with. And I feel like part of the hobby is just going on Pinterest and finding pictures. That's like one half of it. And then the other half is actually doing the thing. I enjoy both equally. And and I also like this is new, just like a new intuitive hit I got. I ordered myself a basket weaving kit, which is a
Mm.
totally new craft I've never tried before, but it was like a really specific intuitive hit that like I need to learn how to weave baskets for some reason. So I ordered like a beginner kit, and again, really enjoying looking at pictures on Pinterest. That's like half the fun. Because there are all kinds of like you can like people who like literally forage like our foremothers did, like forage for natural materials, and like I'm not there yet, but that's really cool. Like just, if you to be able to like just go out into nature and find a bunch of things and then turn it into a functional basket. And that sounds amazing. So maybe I'll get there someday. So I've been crafting. Oh, I see Stephanie's got some. That's amazing. Is that like wisteria vine or something like that? Yeah, because I have wisteria that grows in my backyard and I made some Christmas wreaths out of it this year. Yeah, so I think it's part of a call. It definitely has to do with like nature connection and that sort of like ancestor, like our foremothers, sat around in circles and that's what they did together in community. They wove baskets, and I don't know if they made jewelry. I'm gonna imagine they did. Um, so yeah, so that's what I'm up to. All right, I've been talking enough. Let me take my spotlight off here. And let me take Stacy's off. All right, so folks who are still hanging out with us live here, if you would like to unmute and share about what's going on in your creative life, you are welcome. Oh, I see Doreen's got her little hand up, her zoomy hand. Doreen, what's going on over there in your studio?
Yeah, I'm like do a whole bunch of different various things. So I've been still in completion energy, but I've been completing some sewing projects that, have sat around for 20 years. And, um, and I, it's funny because I let inspiration just take me, but you have your plan for the day. Like, yesterday I was going to work on my art medicine modules, but no, we decided that it's time to plan my woodworking project for my custom sewing table, even though I just finished the temporary table, but you just let it take you. So,
I
so I
love
had to work with my 3D printer to work on some inserts and drafting the table and then researching how I want to put the casters on. So, oh, and then you struck a funny story with your basket weaving. So I grew up in a non-traditional religion, which is very, very much like intuitive art and other stuff. And our ministry used to say and I was they have classes that for adults, but because my parents were so involved, I took them as a child. And he used to tell people because it's like one of those things when people aren't open to something that's outside of mainstream. You learn when you can't. You know, like someone that's not into intuitive art, you kind of know right away not to keep going down that path because it's wasted energy if they're not open to it, right?
Yeah.
So he would tell people, just tell people we're here weaving baskets.
Yeah.
They want to know what you do on Tuesday night. You're taking basket weaving.
Did you actually weave baskets? I'm so curious.
No,
No.
but it's just life. Life is
Yeah.
weaving a basket. You know, you're
You're always
following
weaving.
strands. Yeah, yeah. So it
I
just
actually had a high school teacher who, like, when the class wasn't behaving, he would say, if you don't want to take this class, drop this class and go take underwater basket weaving or something else. That was like his line. So, and I was like, I would like to take underwater basket weaving. That sounds amazing.
we I did because I've done tons of arts. I used to go to Oakland, well, all the cities in the San Francisco Bay Area back in the 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s. They all rented land from federal government up in the mountains because the idea was, you know, city kids should have country experiences.
Hmm.
Um, and so all the cities have addresses where they lease land from federal, and most of them do camps nowadays. And in Oakland, they do an adult art camp for a week during that time. And so went there for years and years and years, and started before my kids. And then when my kids were born, they had to come with me, and they participated in the family camp side of things. But when I was pregnant with my second child, um, I had gotten into soft glass, which you're in front of a torch.
Oh,
Um, but when you're pregnant and breastfeeding, it's no fun to be in front of a hot torch. So I ventured and took some other stuff. So one year I did fabric, and I was already a quilt artist, but we did weave baskets. But it wasn't something that I wanted to keep. Right?
yeah.
So my school, my kids were at when they were at a self-directed school. They had like a little Christmas fair thing where you
Hmm.
know people could donate things, and so I donated that basket, and my son bought it.
You're like, no, I'm trying to get it out of the house,
I
honey.
tried to release it out of my world, and my son was like, "Ooh!" and bought it right back.
My mom was gonna love this. I'm gonna buy this basket. That's the best story. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah. So basket weaving is fun. So
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Doreen. And I love, I think there was a point in time in my journey where I was like, why can't I just focus on one thing and get really good at that one thing? Because I think that's sort of like the cultural story we're told. Like you pick one thing and then you focus on it and you get really good at it. But I don't think that's, at least in like the feminine paradigm, I don't think that's how creatives work. We like to try everything. We like to have multiple projects going. We like to, I mean, I've certainly tried things that are like, that's fun. I'm probably never going to do that again. But the fun is in the trying and the exploring and the doing new things. And yeah, so I love it when people are like, and I'm a woodworker, and I'm a quilter, and I'm a collager, and I'm painting. Yeah.
I think it's a loss. It's a loss. We have a lot of lost knowledge because we've since the industrial period, and our culture was built so that people become factory workers,
Right.
and
Yes.
that was all destroyed. Because I've had many conversations with my children that it's normal. And if you watch children and you study the brain works and how the brain works and everything, it's natural for us to do that. It's natural
Right.
for us to, it's the ebb and flow, right? It's natural to dive into something, be really focused on it, and then be done with it and go on to something else.
Yes.
And people think of
100%.
that in our world, oh my God, you got to stick to this, and you signed up for this, da, da, da. It's like, no, that's not how life works.
Right.
Life is, yeah, and by forcing someone to mold into that, you actually then stop the intuitive voice because you're telling the child you're wrong instead
Yeah.
of
And
saying that's just normal. Yeah, yeah, you're done with it. Okay,
yeah.
let's try something new. Yeah,
Yep.
and I think we've all lost that. Men, children. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
that's a
getting it
good
back.
point. Yeah, the
Yeah,
the sort of assembly line mentality and all that.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Doreen. Who else? Anyone else want to share what's going on in their creative space today?
Sure.
Shelta, what are you up to?
Yeah. So last week I participated in Sage Adderley's quest. She
Yeah,
had a week-long quest where she had different teachers, and among them was our own Amy Blair.
I was there.
And
And
it was
Stacey,
just,
she was there too.
yes, and Stacy, right? That's where I, heard more about this session that we're having today. And it was just really fun. And it wasn't like overwhelming like a lot of these similar things are, where there's like, 5 teachers a day, and
Yeah,
I get tired before I finish reading all their summaries. I mean,
agreed.
it's fun, but you're exhausted from all of the options. But so this was different. It was very peaceful. And this week I was just finishing up listening to some of the pieces that I hadn't been able to. So
Oh,
that's been really good, giving me a little focus.
beautiful. Yeah, that was a great event. And yeah, I'm a big fan of like for a while the trend was like the mega summit, like 40 teachers in 3 days. And I think everyone just collectively went, we're not doing that anymore. Like both the artists, like the people who are on them and the customer, customers, community members were like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. That's just overwhelming. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad you enjoyed the quest. I enjoyed it as well. It was a beautiful
And
event.
I'm really enjoying your focus or talking about chaos and how chaos comes into our creativity process, how it
Yeah.
can be a catalyst and how it can be a stifling influence.
Yeah, so in our membership community, our last month's workshop, our title was Creative Chaos, and we talked about that sort of like chaos of summer energy. And right, it has sort of two sides. It can be catalytic to our creativity, or it can be overwhelming to our, can work with us or against us, and which was, yeah, that was a really fun workshop.
Yeah. And these are times of great change, and change brings chaos. So I found
For
that
sure.
connection was useful to me.
Yeah, for sure. And Stephanie, I think I saw it. Was your hand up to share?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, please.
I do work with Manette Warden. She has a sisterhood community mainly for women like myself that are in retirement age and kind of moving into a next chapter of life and stuff. So this summer we've done the Summer of Wild Magic. So I've been,
Oh,
each
I love that.
month adding like a page, or each week we do something and adding a page. So that's been really enjoyable. And then I just signed up for her in person next year. She lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I have family out there.
Nice.
So she gave me a free workshop called Gateway to Wholeness, and
Wow.
it's several modules: identity, vitality, sacredness, expression, belonging, enoughness, legacy, and integration of all of those. So I've been doing the modules and creating like oracles type
Wow, so
cards.
cool. Yeah, cool.
And I follow a lot of the people you mentioned earlier. I followed the Great Mother March. I got the hearts and all that good stuff. And
Awesome.
then yesterday I participated in, I had to leave early because I had to go to a tea ceremony, but I started my dream catcher. So yeah. So
Wonderful.
I love the artist that does a workshop. I've done one before with her, and I just like to support my local yokel people. And I'm the same way. I go from one thing to another. Like on my patio, I am bedazzling a mannequin. I've had 3 mannequins, and I've been stuff has been popping up on my feed, that what people have been doing with their mannequins, and I'm like, I'm finally going to do something with one of my mannequins. So
Awesome.
yes, and that's my first time today. So thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
So glad you came. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah. I'm always in awe. Like you mixed media collage people out there, like I love mixed media collage art so much. And when I was first like starting out on my like creative journey, before I was teaching, before I was doing any of this, I totally thought that was going to be my thing. I'm like, I'm gonna be a mixed media. And then I started it and I found it to be like the amount of decisions you have to make. It's like, wow, there are and literally endless possibilities, and there are a million things you can choose. Like there were so many choices and decisions, and I was still had young kids at the time, and like my brain wasn't and I was like, maybe. And then I took a like a very traditional collage class with a teacher who was like very traditional. And she had this thing about like you had to rip the paper a certain way or like against the grain and you couldn't use scissors. And I was like, this has too many rules. I think, maybe it's something I need to circle back to because when you were sharing your page, Stacey, and you were just sharing your stuff, and I'm always like, wow, like it's magical. Like these mixed media pages are so magical.
It's really, it really taps into your intuitive. Like this morning, I was supposed to look at the thread of commonality that is woven between my first three modules.
Yeah, that's
So it
beautiful.
gives you so much insight into the colors, the symbols, but also the words and yeah. So
And I've done some cosmic bash booking sessions and things like that. But yeah, I need to circle back to some. All right, friends. Is anyone else who's live want to share before we wrap up here today? Yeah, Claudia,
It's my first morning with you guys because it's
welcome.
8 o'clock here, and I know you're on the East Coast. I'm
I
in
am.
Denver. I am an art therapist, and a lot of talking about the process rather than the product is really important.
Hmm.
I have a painting here that I've been working on. Can I just hold it up?
Yes, absolutely. Please do. Wow,
It's
beautiful.
a bouquet I was given, so I painted it for. I just retired from being an art
Congrats.
therapist and a counselor, and I find retiring very difficult. Um, I just, it was an intuitive gut thing. I'm 82, I said, and it's time to retire. So now I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate art into my life anyway, more, even more.
Yeah. Hmm.
And as a feminist, and I'm in touch with a great mother, and it's just wonderful. And when I lived in Louisiana, I ran 4-week intuitive art groups um,
Beautiful.
for other therapists and other people. And it was just fantastic. And I'm so glad to hear everyone's point of view on things here.
Well, welcome, Claudia. I'm so glad you were able to come this morning and welcome to
Thank
this
you.
community. And so nice to meet you. All right, ladies, I think we are about at our time here. So we are going to wrap up this call. I'm just going to, close here by thank you to everyone who was able to be here live, and of course, everyone else who's catching the replay. And we do these calls. These are once a month, the first Friday of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. There's always a recording afterward as well. So yeah, keep dropping in and stay in touch. And I hope to see everybody again soon.
Thank you, Amy.
All right, friends, have a great day. Thank you so much for being here, Stacy.
Of course. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Amy.
You're so welcome. We'll
Bye
see everyone
bye.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye now.